Look at what 1 John 2:15 says. Do not love the world. Now it's talking to believers here. Do not love the world, the cosmic system, Satan's system, cosmos diabolicus. Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the cosmic system, the love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, in the cosmic system, the lust of the flesh, and this is not only sexual lust as we tend to confuse it. It is talking about the whole lust, all the different intertwined lusts, inordinate competition, attention lust, approbation lust, sexual lust, power lust, monetary lust, materialistic lust, chemical lust, emotional lust. There are many, many more lusts than we think of. Christians only tend to think of lust in terms of sex. There are many, many lusts. And these lusts are the ones that get us out of the cosmic system, out of the divine power sphere and into the cosmic system. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and eyes means perception, the way you view yourself. And this is talking about gate 1, cosmic 1. All the mental attitude sins having to do with arrogance, with preoccupation with self, fear, worry, anxiety, jealousy, vindictiveness, implacability, guilt complex, self-pity, pride, hatred, hostility, animosity, you name it. And so you reside there. The lust of the eyes and the arrogant pattern of life. And this has to do with the rest of the gates. Authority, arrogance, conspiratorial arrogance, sexual arrogance, psychopathic arrogance, all these different things. Emotional arrogance. So all these things, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the arrogant pattern of life comes not from the Father, but from the cosmic system. In other words, if you keep residing there, the love for the Father is not in you. In other words, you have not arrived at gate 5. First, you reach gate 2, which is basic Christian modus operandi. You keep on advancing. You get to enforcing genuine humility. And then you attain some more doctrinal momentum, and you finally crack that adulthood barrier. Many people that get here, they don't like it. It's too painful for them many times. Why? Because you must abandon your own agenda, and your own ideas of human happiness. And many of them, they don't arrive there. But what are we talking about here right now is that you reside too much in the cosmic system, in the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the arrogant pattern of life. You're not going to arrive in gate 5, which is personal love for God the Father, which is spiritual self-esteem. If you remain there too long, you're not in the system. If you're not in the system, you're not advancing. So first of all, they're not using 1 John 1:9, they're functioning on arrogance. And if they're not using 1 John 1:9, they're not filled with the Holy Spirit and not learning doctrine. So remain there too long, you love it. Therefore, you have not advanced to gate 5, personal love for God the Father, spiritual self-esteem. So this is very important. Look how it ends up right here. The cosmic system and its lusts pass away. But whoever does the will of God lives forever. In other words, by executing the plan of God, it has eternal repercussions. So it's very important, because the lust pattern is something that we function on many times. Arrogance and lust go together. Arrogance is thinking towards yourself, high thoughts about yourself. That looks terrible. Arrogance is thinking towards self, but they go hand in hand. Lust is thinking towards the object that's going to satisfy your arrogance. Say that, for example, inordinate competition or attention, lust. Yes, you think towards the object, and this is for the purpose of obtaining your self-importance, your high-minded ideas, your grandiose thoughts about yourself to feel special. The problem with all this is that it relies on people. You depend on people in order to attain your arrogance kick, in order to attain your so-called happiness. But this is not happiness. Why? One, because it depends on people. You cannot depend on people for your happiness. Sooner or later, they're going to get you down. And people are one of the biggest sources of unhappiness. We all have sin natures. We're all going to let each other down once in a while. And yeah, if many people are in the cosmic system, you bet they're going to let you down. And not only that, too, is that, well, yeah, there's no happiness in that. You're depending on people. And, oh, yeah, number 2 is that, say you're trying to attain your approbation list, and you need this amount of approbation for the day in order to feel happy. You must feel this much, this much, this much, this much. If you don't feel this much of approbation, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to feel worthy. What happens if you fall short? What happens if you only receive this much approbation throughout the day? There's a deficiency. You fell short. And to the extent that you fall short, this creates unhappiness. This creates disillusion. This creates insecurity. So it's a terrible system for happiness. And this is what it is. But sometimes unfulfilled lust is much better than fulfilled lust. Why? Because say that you fulfilled your approbation for the day. Boom. And you think you're going to be happy. But you realize many times that by fulfilling your approbation for the day, it did not give you happiness. As a result, you intensify it. You increase your capacity for that lust. And therefore, you have raised the bar now. You need more of it, more. Kind of like a burning fire that has no fullness. And so, you keep on increasing. And yeah, to the extent that you increase one, you increase the other one as well. For they're all intertwined. Attention and approbation go together. Attention and inordinate competition go together. And so this creates frustration. You realize that you're not happy with obtaining it, and you increase it. You realize that you're not happy by obtaining that much, and you increase it. This creates frustration, and you degenerate yourself. To the extent that you increase your arrogance, that is degeneracy. Again, this is no system of happiness. And unfortunately, well, not fortunately for us, because we get to learn from the Corinthians. But the Corinthians, what were they doing? They brought their lust pattern. They used the gift of tongues. And in the name of Christianity, they started trying to satiate their attention, lust, approbation, lust, inordinate competition, inordinate ambition with tongues, all in the name of Christianity. And how many Christians do that? You see that every day. They're not in the plan. They're not filled with the Holy Spirit. They're not naming their sins consistently. As a result, they're not filled with the Holy Spirit. Boom. If you're not filled with the Holy Spirit, you're not going to learn doctrine, because in order to learn a doctrine, you need the spiritual means. You need God's brains to understand that doctrine. So you're not going to advance. You're not in the system. You're not attaining personal love for God the Father. It doesn't matter if they say, oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, I love God. It does not matter. If you're not filled with the Holy Spirit and you're not learning doctrine, you have not reached gate 5, you do not love God, and you're going to function in the cosmic system with its lust pattern. And yes, you might have all the tongues in the world, but here you are trying to satiate your lust desire. The name for lust comes from epithumia. I mentioned this before. I'll mention it many, many more times. Thumia is kind of normal desire. Epi means desire upon desire, more intensified. So desire is normal. How? Well, we all want attention, but it depends whose attention. Obviously, if you're a married man, you want the attention of your woman. If you're a married woman, you want the attention of your man. That's normal. If you have one friend or two, you want their attention, as long as it's sane, as long as it's not possessive. So that's normal. But epithumia is inordinate lust. And so that's inordinate desire. And so that inordinate desire is lust. And so one must, in his soul, talk to God about it, learn doctrine and talk to God about it, so that he could be able to distinguish between your normal desires and your inordinate desires, lust. Because yes, they're normal desires, but one must come to the point that he's able to distinguish between lust and normal desires. So the lust is something crazy. It has no fill. It cannot satiate itself. And then people around you are the ones that suffer. If you don't get your arrogance kick, if you don't get your lust kick for the day, you resort to other means and you start bothering people. You start acting like a victim. You walk around with self-pity because you're trying to attain that attention or that approbation in whatever way possible. If it did not work with the active means, you're going to switch to passive means.